Have you ever felt like you're surrounded by phonies? Like you're the only genuine person in a world full of fakes? If so, you're going to get along just fine with Holden Caulfield, the unforgettable narrator of J.D. Salinger's masterpiece, The Catcher in the Rye. Our story begins with Holden, not from some cozy armchair, but from a rest home in California. He's looking back on the madman stuff that happened to him last Christmas. He takes us back to Pencey Prep, a fancy boarding school in Pennsylvania he's just been kicked out of. It's his fourth school, by the way. He's failing every class except English. Instead of watching the big football game everyone's obsessed with, Holden decides to say goodbye to his history teacher, Mr. Spencer. But the visit turns into a lecture. Mr. Spencer, bless his heart, tries to give Holden some life advice. But all Holden can think about is how old and sad Mr. Spencer looks in his bathrobe. It's a classic Holden moment focusing on a small, depressing detail to avoid the bigger issue, his own future. Back in the dorms, we meet his roommate, Ward Stradlater. Holden describes him as a secret slob, handsome on the outside, but his razor is rusty and gross. Stradlater is getting ready for a date with a girl named Jane Gallagher. This name hits Holden hard. Jane is a girl from his past, a girl he respects and remembers with genuine affection. He remembers playing checkers with her, how she kept all her kings in the back row. The idea of a guy like Stradlater being with a pure memory like Jane drives Holden crazy. To make things worse, Stradlater asks Holden to write an English composition for him while he's on his date. Holden, being a good writer, agrees. But he can't just write about any old thing. He writes about his younger brother Ali's baseball glove. Ali died of leukemia a few years earlier, and he was the person Holden loved and admired most in the world. The glove is covered in poems that Ali wrote in green ink. It's a deeply personal and touching piece of writing. When Stradlater gets back, he's dismissive of the composition. It's about a baseball glove? He scoffs. He also refuses to tell Holden what happened on his date with Jane. Holden's imagination runs wild. He pictures the worst, and his protective feelings for Jane boil over. He throws a punch, Stradlater easily pins him down, and Holden ends up with a bloody nose. That's the final straw. Lying on the floor, surrounded by phonies, Holden makes a decision. He's done with Pencey Prep. He can't stand to be there another minute. He packs his bags, sells his typewriter for some cash, and puts on his red hunting hat that has become a symbol of his individuality and his need for protection from the world. In the dead of night, he walks out of the dorm shouting, "Sleep tight, you morons," into the empty hallway. He's heading to New York City, but he plans to lay low for a few days before his parents get the news that he's just been expelled. On the train to New York, he meets the mother of a classmate he despises. But does he tell her that? Of course not. He spins a web of elaborate lies, telling her what a great, popular guy her son is. He even gives her a fake name for himself. It shows us how Holden, who hates phoniness so much, can be the biggest phony of them all when it suits him. Arriving in the city, the world feels both lonely and full of possibilities. He checks into the Edmond Hotel, a seedy place full of what he calls perverts and morons. From his window, he watches the strange, private lives of the other guests, feeling like an outsider looking in. This feeling of alienation is the key to understanding Holden. He craves connection, but he constantly pushes it away. And that's where we leave Holden for now alone in a cheap hotel room in the heart of New York City. With a pocketful of cash and a whole lot of trouble ahead, what will he do next? Who will he meet? We'll dive into all of that in part 2. Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying this deep dive into a classic, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of Holden's story. See you in the next video.